Well, here we go, back on the $700 Mercury Mountaineer. As you can see, the mileage on it currently is 178,218, and everything's been working great. But the last couple of days, the wife told me she was driving it the other day and the AC was blowing warm. So actually, I was getting ready to go to work that day. Let me try to get this in a position where you can actually see something here. Okay, so there is the AC compressor, and to me it looks like the air gap is way too big on this thing. It's got 170,000 miles on it, and it stands to reason that it wears a little bit. So I have the key on right now, so the auto shutdown relay is pulled in, and I do have the compressor relay unplugged. And I did try a different compressor relay, and that was not it. So I'm going to go ahead and just jumper the contact pins. And it does pull in at this point, and I'm drawing 3.2 amps right now. You can see that 3.2 amps, and the compressor does engage and disengage. So if I can get my hand down in here, I've got the correct size socket, and with this engaged, I can loosen that bolt in the front of the compressor, and I think I can disengage the compressor at this point. Now I'm doing this with the key off, or the key on, I'm sorry, but the engine off, because I want the voltage to drop down a little bit. And I think what's going on is after this thing warms up, you know, copper wire, as it warms up, the resistance actually goes up, so it doesn't have as much magnetic pull. So I'm doing this with the engine off, so it should be about 12.5 volts right now. But what I'm hoping, and I've done this on a couple other vehicles, is if I can pull this off reasonably, there'll be a couple of shims that they put in here from the factory. One moment while I grab a screwdriver, and we'll try to get the, maybe it'll come off, get the face off here. Yeah, I'm gonna have to pry it just a little bit. One moment, please. Okay, I did go ahead and pry it up a little bit, so hopefully it'll come off very peacefully. And I'm gonna try to tip it down just in case it does have a shim in it that I can remove. So looking down in there, I do see a washer. That's a good sign. So there it is. There is a single shim in there. And so this does have some wear to it. Hoping I can get some more life out of it before I have to replace it. I can order just the front pulley, the magnetic coil, and the clutch as a separate assembly, so that way I don't have to discharge the system to replace it. See if I can get down in here. And it's definitely got some wear to it, but we're just going to pull that shim out of there and put it back on and see what the gap changes to, just for the heck of it. Because no point, get you lined up here again, no point in replacing the whole compressor if I don't need to. I'm going to try to get a screwdriver and see if there's a second shim inside there or not. Okay, so I've got my set of calipers, going to zero it out on millimeters, and I just want to measure the thickness of this guy right here. And according to this, it is 1.16 millimeters thick. So I'm going to reassemble the unit without that shim, and yeah, we'll see what's going to happen. Just because I had my greasy hands down in here. We'll hit that with some brake clean. Off camera, hit the other side with some brake clean as well. And we'll reassemble it. And I'm looking for a gap, I believe, of 0.3 to 0.7 millimeters is what the spec calls for. And I think we're going to be very close. So I'm going to get my ratchet. I'm going to pull in the clutch electrically. And then we'll give this thing a little bit of torque. I think that's good. That's a tight fit. There is a gap. It's certainly not much. So, move the stuff out of the way and start it up and see if we get scraping. Which I think everything will be okay. All right, one moment while I crank it over and start it up. So no scraping, so that's good. Hopefully you can hear me with the wind from the fan. I like that. Okay, I'm going to reinstall the relay and we'll ask it to cool. Okay, it is set to max AC. There it goes. All right, I'm pretty happy with that. Well, we'll see if we can get another 100,000 miles out of it, since everything should be good, considering I had the engine out of it almost a year ago to do the complete timing kit with the chain in the front and the chain in the back. So I'm going to snap the cover back on the fuse box. And we got a couple grandkids games, baseball games we needed to go to this afternoon, so I will keep you updated if the AC continues to work. I think the gap had just become so large that it couldn't pull the clutch plate in. I don't think there's a problem with the coil. I don't think there's anything else going on other than just normal wear and tear. You can see the amount of wear that was on the front of that compressor. So, yep, we will do what we can, and I'll keep you updated. And I figured since we were here working on this thing, turn this light on here, we would go ahead and do yet another oil change. Where's the freaking pan? There it is. So draining the oil out of it. This is Costco Full Synthetic 5W30. You saw me change this oil in a New York hotel parking lot, Brockport, New York. I have changed it once since, and I'm at 5,000 miles again, and the oil really doesn't look that bad. In fact, I plan on reusing this oil, and I'm going to put it in my 1994 GMC 1500 four-wheel drive pickup, just because the engine in that thing has not been maintained so terribly well. And this is a much higher quality oil than is what in it, and we drive it basically 1,000 miles a year. So yeah, oil draining, and then we just got to go ahead and get off the where is it? There it is, the orange can of death, which I still use. I've been perfectly happy using these things, and I can't really get a good shot of it, but nevertheless, it's the Fram. I know I'm going to get comments. It's cheap. I maintain my engine. Basically, as long as you maintain your oil changes and you don't go over, it'll be just fine. I do need to service the transmission again. It's been 20,000 miles since I did a complete flush, so you may see that coming up on NorCal 715, but we'll let that drain. We'll get the wrench out and get the orange can of death out of this thing and move forward. Yeah, and I know the GoPro does not do it justice, but Here is the magnetic drain plug after 5,000 miles. And it has just the slightest amount of ferrous metals attached. See if I can show you my thumb there. Just the slightest amount. I'm very happy with these results. The engine is in pristine condition for basically 80,000 miles on it. 180,000 miles. Yeah, that's pretty good. It's down to where it's just dripping a drop here and there. Let's get this drain plug back in. And one moment, I gotta find the ratchet. There it is. Okay. Okay, I'm happy with that. Okay, well hopefully you can see what I'm doing down here. Old filter has been removed. Hopefully nothing drips on the camera. New filter going in. And we'll go ahead and give it a snug up with the wrench here in just a minute, but unfortunately it's in place. I did drop the wrench into the oil right there. Okay, so yeah, let me go ahead and pour the new oil in the engine, and then we'll retrieve that wrench and we'll give it a quick snug up here. And yes, I am using the Made in USA funnel right there. There goes the Kirkland Signature Full Synthetic 5W30. Good to the last drop. All right, let's start it up. Make sure we got oil pressure. Now I didn't pre-fill the filter, which I normally never do, because that can actually lead to contamination if there's anything in the oil as it goes in. So I want the inside of the filter to be clean. Here we go. And there we got oil pressure. Very good. And we'll just go ahead and let it run for just a moment while I go out here and make sure the AC compressor is running. Yes, it is. Very good. So it is telling me down here oil change required, and I'm going to go ahead and do oil change reset right here. Oil life reset to 70%. Now some people have commented, why is it set to 70%? Well, I set that for 70% because I believe Ford uses a 7,500 mile oil change interval, And at 70%, it is exactly 5,000 miles, and that's where I like to change my oil. So I'm going to go underneath, look for leaks, and make sure I tighten that filter up, and we will call it a day. All right, I'm happy with that. No leaks down here. Everything looks great. No leaks on the oil pan, and no leaks on the filter after running it for about 30 seconds. So I think that is going to wrap it up until I get a chance to do the transmission fluid exchange, which will be coming up in the next couple of months, I would say. All right, we're done. Back on the road again. The $700 Mercury Mountaineer lives another day. All right, everybody. Thank you for watching. I really, really appreciate it. Go ahead and leave me a question, a comment, a concern down below. Good or bad, I try to respond to the comments when I have time while you're down there. If you could hit that subscribe button and like this video, it really does help my channel grow. You can follow me on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter at NorCal715. You can email me, norcal715videos@gmail.com. That is the best way to contact me. Once again, please be very patient. I have a full-time job. I do these repairs in my spare time. And as of lately, I've had no spare time. If you try to contact me on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter, please be aware I may not respond ever. And via email, it's a couple months behind right now. Everybody, thank you. I really appreciate it once again, especially those who have donated to my daughter's GoFundMe after the accident. And once again, they are doing much better. She can drive again. He's not quite been released to drive, but it's coming up very shortly. All right, there you go. Fixing the air conditioning and changing the oil on the $700 Mercury Mountaineer with the 4.0 single overhead cam engine. The dreaded timing chain noise issue fixed in this one like a year ago. I'll try to put a link up here in the corner to a little bit of it. I didn't actually film the whole thing. I probably should have. It would have made a very good video. Once again, thank you for watching. Everyone have a great day. Bye-bye.